Good evening, everybody. Welcome to PatFacts. Patrick here, Pat on your back, personal fitness. Hope everyone's having a great week. A great July so far. Hope you had a great Canada Day, Independence Day, depending on where you're tuning in from, or just having a great summer so far. A little break last week, a little family time, and just a little time for me to take a step back and look kind of ahead a bit of what we want to do. I want to take some next steps. Next level was my theme word for 2024. I want to do that with PatFacts. I want to try to create more of a community and have our community expand and grow. And I feel like some of the reach and pushing that some of the social media used to do for us, especially during the pandemic times, isn't there now. It's being a little more restrictive. So I'm trying to find maybe the best options. So maybe we can all be in one place. I know with thanks to our pals at StreamYard, we can multi-stream to different places, but maybe looking at maybe just streaming to one or two, or most of us can gather together and actually interact with each other maybe a little bit more in person, whereas I can see everyone on StreamYard, comments from different platforms, but if you're on one platform, you can't see the comments from the other unless I put them up on screen. So looking at ways to maybe do that and expand the reach a little bit more, expand the following to try to help more people experience the positivity pandemic, to experience PatFacts, to give them the tools and the motivation, the inspiration, the drive, the influence, the resources to be able to take things to the next level and work on their goals and become operationally fit to fight the daily battles that life hands you, which is what we're about here at Pat on Your Back, personal fitness. So a little bit of brainstorming, a little bit of things on the go. I have some different ideas. I just need to sit down and kind of put some of them into play and look at some of the options to see what's going to work best for you guys as well as me. So again, thanks for your patience. It wasn't super expected, but it seemed right at the time. And some family time is always good too. So tonight we're going to talk, it's going to piggyback off what we talked about a couple weeks ago. And it's just come up again. I try to be out there and kind of see what people are talking about, or something catches my attention. And the Canadian basketball team is gearing up for the Olympics. The men's and women's teams are gearing up for the Summer Olympics happening in a few weeks. We're excited for both teams to play. One of the players on the men's team is one of the kind of top young players in the NBA, Shai Alexander. And I was watching him play in the NBA this past season, and he had a really great game. And I remember growing up, a great game would be you scored a lot of points, or maybe get a lot of rebounds, or maybe you had a lot of passes. And with this guy, I find there's 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 stat categories where he's getting results in. Some of them are double figures, but he's kind of stuffing the stats, as we say. I think the kids say that. And he had one of those games where he was stuffing stats, 5 or 6 categories. He had some input in. And the reporter said, how do you have such a consistent game? How do you manage to stay consistent all game? And he paused for a second and he said, because my life is consistent. His teammates were behind him and they kind of overreacted. Oh, what an answer. If you take their big overreaction away, he's not wrong. Consistency. And then he broke it down. What I eat is consistent. My relationships are consistent. How I train is consistent. How I practice is consistent. The more consistent he is, the better his results, the more in control he is. And I thought, what a great reminder for us. And actually, a friend of mine sent me a clip today, an Instagram post, saying that a lot of the athletes, what is their success? It's the habit of consistency. Consistency is what will give you the results. Effort is great. Drive is great. But consistency is what will keep us moving, even on those days when maybe we don't feel like it. We may not feel at 100%. Maybe we can't give 100% effort in the day's workout or in the meeting today. But if we show up for the meeting and do the best we can, if we go to the gym and get a bit of a workout in, we're being consistent to ourselves. We're being consistent to the routine. And that consistency is still going to help us progress forward. Whereas what happens to a lot of people, if the effort's not going to be 100%, then they give up. I don't feel like my energetic. I can't lift as heavy as I have been lately. I'm going to stay home and take a rest day. Now, again, rest days are needed sometimes, so you have to know you. But as we talked about before, not everything has to be so black and white. Maybe, yes, I'm not feeling as good today. I can't go lift like I usually can. But can I lower the weights and keep my intensity going? Can I change the formatting a little bit for today? Can I maybe go and do a stretch? Can I do some cardio work? Can I maybe go and take a class as opposed to following my workout today? Just for something different to shake things up. I'm still being consistent on working towards my goal. My goal is fitness related by the end of December. And part of the tasks in that goal is getting to the gym X number of times per week. I can still get there. Something is better than nothing. That old adage. And that's true. And for a lot of people, because they can't give everything, they do nothing. They can't be at the gym for 2.5 hours to get that full body weight, lift heavy, rest, recover, strong kind of workout that they usually do. So they don't go. And what happens is that I'm not there today can lead to another day of, it's not quite there. And that turns into inconsistency. And that inconsistency creates that adage, if you don't use it, you lose it. Or at least if we're going to be inconsistent, we should at least be maintaining where we are. Ideally, we're still improving a little bit, but we're at least maintaining where we are. So that when the energy comes back, or when the day is better, or when the things at work clear up, and we can get back to giving 100% effort at the gym, we're not digging ourselves out of that hole. We haven't taken 6 steps backwards. Again, hopefully we were when we didn't feel quite right. Or maybe we're a little bit back if we couldn't kind of keep up that intensity. But it's better than being all the way back at the beginning, or even digging ourselves out of a really big hole. Because that's when the frustration and things seep in, and the negative self-talk, all those things start. And then we're likely to go, it's not going to work. Maybe next year. And then we're 6 months plus behind. Plus we've just sort of blown 6 months, and we're going to lose all that progress. We're about a year behind from where we want to be when all is said and done. So consistency is going to get you where you need to be. And if you think of it, if you watch athletes, if you watch sports and dive into it a bit, a lot of them will say consistency is the key. They may not blatantly say that, but you'll hear them say the routine. I think I've heard Shaq say he would get up at a certain time, go to shoot around or a practice, probably practice first, come home, have a snack or a meal, maybe nap for a little bit, get back up, go to shoot around, warm up, get ready for the game. And that was his daily routine. That was consistency for him. So he knew every night by 7 p.m. or so when the game started, he was ready to go. Hear of sprinters and baseball players, everything. You see the routine. Go to a baseball game before it starts when the doors open. You'll see them out doing the routines, jogging the fields, maybe doing some work with bands, doing some light throwing. Then the distance gets farther away. They do batting practice. All things, the consistent routine to get them ready for the game. It's a warm-up, but it's also part of the routine. And same thing in the morning. Maybe they had team meetings. A lot of them probably nap because, again, they play in the evenings a lot of times. Baseball's a little different, but some of them throw in a little nap there, a little rest, recovery, recharge, let the body be energized for the game. And they have that routine, that consistency daily is what prepares them for that event. So for us and our goals, that daily consistency, as best we can, is going to help progress us towards that goal. And again, if you've been with us, we've talked about reverse engineering, right? Back in October, we worked on setting a goal. We've worked backwards, hopefully to that day. So there should be something today that we're trying to accomplish to get us towards that goal, or maybe this week to get us one step closer to that goal. Being consistent this week is going to push us that much closer to that weekend goal or that end of July goal. If we take a couple of days off because we're not quite feeling it or something comes up, then again, that's going to delay our progress. We're going to be not quite as close to our goals we want to be. And then we're trying to play catch up. Or then again, sometimes that frustration, that negative self-talk kicks in, and then we kind of bail on, or we give up, or we just get frustrated and take a lot of days off. And that inconsistency, again, puts us even farther behind the 8 ball. We're further away from our goal. We actually go backwards because we're not keeping that momentum going. So on those days where you don't feel quite right, when there's a lot going on at work or at home, and again, this is why last week with halftime, we suggested, and even at the beginning of the year, I suggested trying to take out that calendar and look for those busy times and those quiet times and gear up for that. Know that in the month of August, work is really hectic for me because there's lots of vacations. I've got to backfill and this. It's going to be hard for me to get to the gym as much as I want to. What can I do? What can I do to be consistent? So that in September, when work schedule kind of goes back to a regular routine, then I can hit the gas pedal again and ramp things back up. But if we take August off because it's so too busy, and admittedly, for a lot of us, when we get busy, ourselves is the first thing to put to the side, especially our fitness. We don't want to have that happen. We need our fitness in those busy times. We need it even more to help with our performance, our stress management, our mental, physical health and well-being. We need exercise or at least physical activity as that outlet. So what can I do to maintain consistency during those busy times? Help me get through that chunk. And then again, when things quiet down a little bit, then I can get back to maybe those hour-long workouts or the HIIT classes or more days per week of getting my workouts in, or whatever your goal is. But consistency is key. Consistency is king. That's what's going to progress us every day, because the effort will go up and down. There's days we're going to be tired. There's days we're going to be stressed. There's days we're going to be tired and stressed. Work's going to have something come up. Life's going to have something come up. We're going to go through that range. But if we can be as consistent as possible, that keeps the snowball rolling down the hill. Excuse my language. That keeps that momentum going. We've built this positive momentum for ourselves, working and rolling towards that goal. Consistency is that little push to keep it going, or that little pedal on the bike to get coasting down the hill. We need to keep that consistency going. That's what's going to help us continue to evolve and grow and learn about ourselves and progress towards that goal. Hey, Nads, welcome in. Good to see you. So what I'd like for you to do is think of ways to be consistent. So again, we looked a couple of weeks ago about halftime, our halftime report. What can we do? Let's look at our game plan. Let's take some time to look at our game plan. Let's make adjustments based on what life is doing to us, our opponent, and how can we improve. And let's start the second half strong, and let's put our foot down. Let's really come out of the gate strong to drive the tempo, to dictate the tempo of the game. So what I'd like you to do now is find ways that you can be consistent. And again, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about getting that calendar out again, looking at these next 6 months, the Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, within the next 6 months, U.S. Thanksgiving, Black Friday, all these different events and activities and whatever else you have going on, summertime camping and picnics and concerts and fun. Look at the calendar. Where are things busy? Where are things going to take you out of your routine? And what can you implement to be as consistent as you can to keep yourself progressing towards the goal? So that you don't feel guilty for going away for a weekend camping, or you don't feel guilty for having a late night at a concert, being out, or you don't feel guilty taking a trip somewhere for a few days or a few weeks. You come back, you've been consistent, you've been, again, at least maintaining where you were before you left. So you're ready to go again. Okay, now let's go. But again, so often we indulge a little bit, which is fine, but we feel a little guilty about it, or we're not sure, we haven't planned for it. And then we don't have a way to be consistent, and then that sets us back. And then again, that sets off that negative talk, that negative connotation of, here I go again, I can't finish this. When we just need to plan consistency. What can I do to keep myself going? What can I do this week, because I know I'm going to go away for a few days? I won't be near my gym. What can I do to be consistent working towards my goal? What can I do? Okay, I can't get to the gym, but can I go for a walk every day? Can I bring my fitness tubing, fitness bands in my suitcase? Is there a gym where I'm going to be? Do I have a body weight that I can lift? Probably. Push-ups, squats, lunges, walking. I can do some things. I can keep moving to work towards my fitness goal. Consistency is what's going to help us, again, continue forward. But again, we need to practice it. Like the post my buddy sent me this morning. Consistency becomes a habit, and nothing becomes a habit unless we practice it. Hey, Bonnie, welcome in. Good to see you. So how can we build the habit of consistency to stay consistent, to stay progressing towards our goals? And again, it takes some planning, it takes some practice. It takes thinking back to maybe our when life works list that we've talked about here before. When things were going really well, what were you doing to stay consistent? Or when you had trouble with other goals or other moments, what took you out of your consistency? What could you have done to stay more consistent? What modifications could you make to be more consistent? And again, I find especially in the fitness field, a lot of people think it's an all or nothing approach. I'm going to the gym for 2 hours, 3 times a week to work and sweat, or I'm not going to go at all. When really, you could do a 20-minute workout. If you guys remember that great show, classic fitness workouts from the 80s. 20-minute workouts, half-hour workouts, HIIT training. There's so many different styles of training and styles of workouts you can do, and formats you can move around and adjust to fit your schedule. That's where we need to take the time and think about it and prepare for it, plan as best we can, so that, again, we have the steps in place to be more consistent. We have to create the habit of consistency. Getting your agenda, your calendar, your phone, whatever it is you use, blocking off that time, just like you would a dentist appointment, a doctor's appointment, an appointment with your accountant, a meeting at work. Block that time off. It's reserved. It's booked. And then it's there. Then book other things around that. Create the consistency of going each day. Okay, I want to work out 5 times a week. I can't get to the gym 5 times a week. What can I do? Okay, I can get to the gym 3 days a week. Okay, the other 2 days, what can I do? I can do a body weight workout at home. I got a space in the basement that I don't use very much. I've got an exercise bike that's a coat hanger right now, full of my laundry. Maybe I clean that off and I can ride the bike. Maybe I can read a book while I ride, make use of the time. Generally, I would recommend just riding when you ride to be focused on it and get the most out of the workout. But if it helps you ride and you get consistent, then go for it. Generally, if you see people watching TV or reading when they're at the gym, the adage and the research I've seen is that it's not quite as intense because we're focused on the book. And for some of us, that keeps our mind off what we're doing. But if we can just focus on what we're doing, maybe have some music on or something, and just be in the moment, typically we perform a little better. We work a little bit harder. But again, 2 birds, 1 stone. If a book or a show gets you on the bike at home or your ski machine or whatever the case is, and gets you using it and gets you active and gets you consistent, then I say let's go for it. Let's build the consistency. Maybe later on we can take that little extra device out, that book or the TV or something. But for now, if it gets you consistent, let's go ahead. Let's make sure we're setting some goals and some targets, maybe with our intensity and our duration. But let's use that to our advantage as best we can. And then we create that habit where we're consistent. And then we get to the point where, for a lot of us, especially in fitness, but with any goal really, once you get on the track and get that momentum going, then you don't want to miss a workout. You don't want to miss a day progressing towards your goal. And that's what we're looking to do, is create that consistent habit so that you, again, want to progress. So you'll find ways to progress. Something came up today. I was late in meetings. I got held up. I'm supposed to be at the gym at 5. I didn't get out of work until 5:15. What can I do? Okay, I can go for a walk. Hey, the waterfront in my town has some fitness equipment along the trail. It's not quite what I use. It's not quite the same workout as what I usually do, but I can get something in and I can be consistent in my routine. I just change the the format or the outcome or the intensity of it. Then again, we're still being consistent towards our day. We're being consistent to ourselves. And that's what keeps the ball rolling. That's what keeps us working towards that goal and progressing towards that goal every day. And that way, when there are days where we just can't get it to work out, and maybe we're overtired, something's come up, we just for whatever reason, we just can't make it work, then it's just one day. It happens. But if we have the consistency habits built in and ingrained to us, then again, it's easier that next day because we want to get back on track. We want to get that ball rolling again. We feel behind because we missed that day of that progress. Okay, now let's get going. Let's get back to it. Let's get back on track. What can we do? And then again, if you've had those habits and those systems in place, the consistency is there. It's easier to get back on track. Whereas if the habits aren't there and created and practiced to have consistency, we miss a day. We have one of those days. Again, we're going to have them where nothing worked out. We just couldn't work towards our goal. Then it's really defeating and really tiring and really difficult to get going the next day. We're trying to climb out of that hole. Whereas if the consistency is there, we're still kind of on the ground. We're not in the hole. We just didn't take any steps forward. But it's a new day. Let's get going. And maybe the next day is better. We get twice as far as we had planned to make up for that last day. Who knows? But without the consistency, again, you're digging yourself out of that hole. It's an uphill climb just to get going and get back on track. And again, that's when we lose a lot of people in the fitness industry as clients and members and participants, because they get too far behind or too caught up and too all or nothing. And then nothing kind of takes over eventually and cuts that momentum or creates negative momentum. And then we lose out. We don't get the results. We get frustrated. We go backwards. Maybe we stop setting goals or don't set as completed goals we should be. We set up maybe easier goals. And then we don't progress and be the type of person we should be and deserve to be. We don't ascend till the end, like we like to say here on PatFacts. Right, game end? Yeah, the 20-minute workout. I remember it all too well. It was a classic. My mom had the record, I think, of the 20-minute workout. Plus, it used to be on TV. Classic stuff. Again, there's different variations of that. Find what works for you. If you're not sure, again, might be a great time to contact a coach. I'm here. I can't get past this. I'm having trouble building consistency into my routine. I know how to work out. I know the exercises I want to do. I feel pretty confident in my form, but I can't be consistent. What do I do? That's where a coach can come in and help you and guide you and look at your schedule and look at your life with a kind of an open perspective, an unbiased perspective, and then look at the spots where we can fit those things in. Okay, what's coming up in the next 6 months? Okay, this chunk here looks like it's going to be tricky for you to get your workouts in, your gym visits in. What can we do during that time to help you get through? Maybe we can change the duration of your workouts. Maybe less time, more intensity will get the same results for us, but make it fit better with your schedule. And then when things open back up, then we can bring the intensity down a bit and extend that time again. There's always an option of some sort. Again, it's just a matter of looking at it. And sometimes, again, having a third perspective or unbiased perspective can help with that. But take a look at things. Take a look at, again, at when life works list, like we talked about here. When things are going really good, you're having success, you're accomplishing goals. What were you doing? What was working for you? How were you staying consistent? And then try to take what you've learned from that and apply it to this situation. And like we say here, we want to create a system that we can then transfer to the next goal and to the next goal. We have the system, we have the footprint, we have the guide in place. We just tweak it for each individual situation. And typically, next year's goal will probably piggyback from this one. Typically, maybe not 100%, but usually there's some connection there. So again, it's just a very little bit of tweaking. We create the system. We learn about ourselves, what works, what doesn't, who we need around us. And then that creates the consistency that we need. And it gives us the results that we need. And in the post and in the even the quote from the player and the post I saw recently, one of the things in being consistent was about relationships. They both mentioned it comes back to our sum of five. You're the sum of the five people you spend time with. If your relationships are consistent and you're consistent with who you surround yourself with, and they're good people and motivating and maybe on the same journey as you, or at least on a journey and are trying to get better and ascend just like you are, then you'll feed off each other. You'll help each other. You'll keep each other consistent. That can be your accountability partners, your accountability group, or your exercise group or partner. Again, use each other for that. Use that circle. Use this community that you have, communities that you have here and in your environment to help each other stay consistent, to stay on track, to reach towards those goals. But try to find ways in different areas of your life to stay as consistent as you can. Some people eat the same thing every Tuesday. Sometimes it's tacos. That's fine. Some people have Taco Tuesday, fish on Friday. Some people plan their meals that way, so that when they come home, okay, it's Wednesday, what am I cooking? Or what have I meal prepped? Let's take Wednesday out of the fridge and put it in the oven, and we're ready to go. Your relationships, your food, again, sleep patterns, your nighttime routines, your morning routines that we talked about here, getting those in check, that creates more consistency. Your nighttime routine winds you down, you go to bed at your bedtime, you wake up when you're set to get into your morning routine, that sets you up for your day. Your day is more consistent, you get better results. All these areas in our life create that consistency. If we foster that and make it habitual, then again, we have less to worry about, less decisions to maybe make all the time, less to concern ourselves with, because we know, okay, it's Wednesday, I'm going to get up at 6, I'm going to journal, I'm going to read a little bit, I'm going to do some stretching, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to go to the gym at lunch, I come back to work in the afternoon, and then in the evening, dinner's ready, I put it in the oven just to reheat it, and then I'm going to do some paperwork, read, and then go to bed. Maybe that's your routine. That's your consistency. That's what you need to kind of keep track on, rather than, okay, do we need milk for tonight's dinner? Do I have to get stuff? What do I have at home in the fridge? I can't remember. Oh, where's that meeting? Where are my notes? It creates chaos. We want to control as many controllables as we can. Again, as you've heard us talk about here, consistency will help us do that. Control those controllables. And then again, when life throws something at you and we need to be max flex, that maximum flexibility, we can be, because we're controlling everything else that we can with consistency. It keeps us in control and it keeps us progressing towards those goals. So I'd love to hear from you if you're with us live tonight or again on recording. We love hearing from you guys. What are some things you do to stay consistent? Or how can you introduce more consistency into your routines and create a habit of consistency to help keep you on track and keep you progressing and keep you rolling forward? Then the consistency is key. The consistency creates the results. The effort is there, it helps, but it's not always going to be 100%. Consistency might not be 100% either, but the more we practice it and as much as we can try to keep it there, again, the better results we'll have. Your effort will flow up and down based on what's going on. The consistency is what can be consistent about that to, again, keep us moving forward. We have to practice it, we have to plan it, and put it in there for us. So again, from now until next week, when we meet again, let's think of some ways we can be more consistent. Think of some ways we can maybe sharpen up our nighttime routine. And we've talked about nighttime routines, morning routines here before. If you're not sure of that, reach out. I can send you some videos on that or some resources on how to correct those. But maybe it's that. Maybe it's your nutrition. Maybe it's your hydration. Maybe it's your stress management. Maybe it's your fitness. Maybe it's all of those. Pick a couple that are going to make the most difference for you now. Focus on those. Make those habitual. Create the consistency there. And then start to work on the next steps. Again, a lot of times we try to fix everything at the same time. We overwhelm ourselves. Pick the top one or two that are going to make the most benefit for you, have the most impact on you. Start with those. Create consistency, create habits, and then go from there. It's hard now. It's hard to stay in a routine. Everything comes at us. Life is challenging and different. But again, the more we can stay as consistent as possible, that's what we need to do. And work on that. And again, practice it just like anything else. It's a muscle. We have to develop it. We have to create that habit. It takes practice. It takes patience. and it takes some time. So hopefully we'll hear from you either tonight or next week about your consistency and how you've been implementing it and what you're looking to accomplish. And we'll carry on with our path. And again, we've come out of halftime. We've set our goals or reset our goals, looked at our game plan. Maybe as we look at our game plan, let's try to sprinkle some consistency in there. Do we have consistency in our game plan for the second half of 2024? And that's where we can kind of take things to that next level and really, again, start this second half of the year strong to really drive the ball at our opponent, dictate the tempo of how we're working towards our goal as we'd like to. Thanks, Bonnie. Have a great evening as well. Thanks for being here. Yeah, awesome. K-Man says I'm better at it. Walking at the same time daily, regular lifting days, same smoothie daily. Yeah, having those routines. Again, it's there. For some people, they'll have that smoothie ready the night before or the ingredients ready the night before. So it's there. Their walking clothes ready to go at it. Again, their gym clothes for lifts. Maybe they have the equipment at home. It's right there. It's in a spot. They can grab it. They put it in as part of their routine. But again, it takes time and practice. Great stuff, K-Man. Thanks for sharing that. But again, it takes time. Remember, K-Man first starting kind of with the walking a little bit, then adding the lifting in, and then again, making it that routine of what you have. Adding the smoothies in. Again, the food, the meals, meal prep, whatever it is working for you, to go through it and finding again what works best for you. And then it takes one step at a time. Like I said, pick the one area that's going to make the most difference for you. Work on that. And maybe that'll create the motivation you need to get you going to the next thing. It creates that momentum. Momentum can create that self-motivation to get you going and get you on the path. And if you're not sure if the motivation is lagging, remember, go back to that vision board. Take a look at that vision board that you created late last year with our pal Blake. Or maybe you tweaked it a bit a few weeks ago when we talked about our halftime report. Think about your why. Why did you set the goal that you set for 2024? Really think and dig. And you should have it from before. We talked about this if you're with us. But if not, think why. Why do I want to lose 10 pounds? Like really dig into it. And when you get to the real reason, the real core reason of why you want to lose 10 pounds or run a 5K or whatever your goal is, that's your motivation. And on those days when life is hard, you think of your why. I want to be healthier for my family. I want to be around for kids and grandkids. I want to be able to travel more. I want to have a better quality of life. Whatever the case is, think of your why, discover it, find it. Again, if you need to, reach out to a coach. We can work on finding it together. And if you discover the real why did I pick this goal? Hopefully we gathered that again in December when we were gathering this, but if not, really look at it now. Why did I pick this as my goal? And keep asking yourself, why? Why is this? Why is this? Do you really find that core value? And that's when the days are tough and it's raining outside, you don't want to go for a run or do it, your why is that internal motivation. So you don't always have to rely on someone to give you a bit of a kick to get going. So think back to the tools we've created over the past few months to kind of help you get going and stay on routine. And again, now try to, once you get that core why reasoning, that'll give you some motivation, some inspiration. Then look at your plan for the next 6 months. And then plug in that consistency, ways to make you more consistent. Some progress is better than no progress. Something's better than nothing. Then you can put that through and start to get that momentum going and get yourself moving towards that goal. And consistency will be the key to start that engine to build that momentum to get you there. We talk about our goal kind of being our destination and our small goals being the GPS to get us there. Consistency is the key to get the engine going, the momentum going towards that goal. So think of how you can be more consistent and make consistency part of your routine, part of your daily habits. Create and practice the habit of consistency and watch your results take off. And that's it for tonight, gang. Thanks so much for being here. I always appreciate the interaction in the chats and the comments. Again, if you're watching us via recording, please still pipe in, share any questions you have and experiences you have. How do you stay consistent with your goals? We'd love to hear from you guys. Join us next week. We'll be back for our weekly episode of PatFacts. Please share this if you have someone who's maybe struggling with consistency, trying to get a little better, trying to accomplish some goals, and maybe they're a little stuck, or maybe they just want to join a community of like-minded people that we can, again, help each other become better and become operationally fit. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe. Take care. Remember, always make yourself the priority that you deserve to be by striving to be operationally fit. Stay safe. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.